All right, everyone. So, what can we achieve under the 25% ownership, if you like, of INEOS? There's been an awful lot of positives in the last few days, which has been refreshing and good. And of course, we've made an appointment in Barada, which I think the football world says is a good appointment. It's not just United fans. You've got the likes of Henry Winter, who are advocating for it, who's very, very outspoken about the Glazers, not easily impressed by anything that United do. When he says it's a good move, it's an elite type of move, then for me, that is that's vindication of the decision in itself. One of my favourite journalists, but across the world of football, it seems to be it's a good move, and there's talk of more, and all that's really positive. But someone said something on Twitter yesterday which really resonated with me, and that was that making these. It seems that INEOS are going for an appointment-led. What's the word? Way forward for the future, if you like. But where's the money coming from that we need? Because they haven't got it. And I've touched on this before. We need these expert appointments and money. Without the money that's needed, these appointments, as good as they are, they're going to have to be geniuses, because there isn't the money that's there that needed to perform on a level playing field with our competitors. We're £1 billion in debt. If you put the stadium and the training ground together, there's £2 billion needed spending on that. There's £3 billion that we haven't got, that needs to be sorted out. There's certainly the £2 billion needs to be there quite quickly. We haven't got it. We've got huge issues with FFP because of years and years of poor recruitment and balancing of the squad and balancing of the books. We do still have a very strong revenue, as was indicated by the fact we're the fourth richest in the rich list of football clubs in the world. I think that came out today, even though we've been shit for the last few years. So the revenue is high, and if that stays high, and will get higher probably with decent people running the club, the FFP thing could be sorted out. But if you look at the infrastructure, if you look at the club, the team, really, to retain being right up there near the top of the league in modern football, and we're not up there near the top of the league, so we've got to get there yet. But even to kind of just do a maintenance programme, you're going to have at least £200 million every summer, I'd say, and you might need 50 or 100 in January, so you're probably going to need 300 million a year on the squad. Just to remind you, we can't afford to loan a striker at the moment. We can't afford a loan fee for a striker. The club has absolutely no money. So we're skint. And as I say, £1 billion in debt, £2 billion needs spending on just stadium and infrastructure in the training ground. So where's that money going to come from? No one's really talking about that. We've got £300 million from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So it's not, the two things don't add up, and I've always said that. And as much as it is positive, of course, that we've got these appointments, it doesn't eradicate the need for money. We need more money than what is available to us, and that's a problem. So I look at it in a 3-stage process: short term, mid term, long term. The short term priorities are that we need to, it's reparation of damage. And by the way, there is a lot of damage that's been done. So you need to come in and, I suppose, maybe what they'll look at is perhaps fix elements of both the physical structure of United, as in the stadium, and maybe some bits of training ground and stuff like that, tart things up essentially. Rid the squad, I hope, and this is a big job, rid the squad of the bluffers that are in there. You could do a whole video on that. But absolutely rid the squad of those players and get players in who are more aligned with a vision of hard work and a good work ethic and a good principles and football principles, which, as I sort of touched upon in yesterday's video, you've got that. So you've got that side of it, and that's just short term. That's what you have to start to do short term. So what's that? 2 to 3 years, maybe. Mid-term, which I would classify as maybe being 4 to 6 years. We need to establish ourselves as, I'd say, a top 3 or 4 club. It's consistently finishing around those positions year in, year out, with consistency, with a style of football, with young, exciting players, a team that the fans can relate to and identify with, maybe win a few cups along the way consistently in Europe. That's your midterms. That's 4 to 6 years. Then 7 to 10 years, which is the bit I think we're never going to get to with the way things are. We need to then be looking at, right, how do we establish ourselves as a title winning, Champions League winning club again? And the gap from where we are to where we need to be in terms of that is too big, and we haven't got the money to make up that gap. We've got some great appointments. We've got one great appointment. We haven't appointed a director of football or a sporting director yet, but if the rumours are true with the ones that we're talking about, then those appointments will be very welcome. But we haven't got the money to make up the gaps. So I think what we're going to be looking to do is, if we look to the past, so Enzo Fernandez, I think, was recommended to United, maybe by Ralph Rangnick, it might have been someone else, and we could have got him for 10 million quid. And Joel Glazer said no, and then I think Chelsea got him for stupid money not that long after that. There's a number of them, I'm probably going to miss loads out, but the three that stand to my mind are him. Caicedo, I think, was 4 million when we first were first interested in him, and Joel Glazer said no. And then Haaland, I think, was recommended by Solskjaer to United for 6 million, and United said no. So we could have got those three players for 20 million quid, all in 20 million quid, and now they'd be worth nearly 300 million pounds. Now, if they'd have come into the to what United were then, it wouldn't have worked. They wouldn't have had the careers that they've subsequently had at other clubs, because we'd have fucked them up, because that's what United have done over the last few years. But we're going to have to get that type of player in now, into what is hopefully a more settled structure and a better ethos and a better culture, and hopefully those players will succeed. But that's what you're looking at. You're looking at getting players that are on the up, if you like, that maybe scouring South America and Portugal and Germany and Norway and Denmark and wherever, and you're finding these gems, which basically makes us a Brighton, doesn't it? That it seems that we're aspiring to be Brighton. We're a shoestring football club because we have to be, because we don't get any money. And that isn't going to be eradicated by £300 million. There's not enough money to make up the gap. So that's what we're going to have to do. So these people that are coming into these football positions aren't coming into United as a superpower. They're not coming into United in our pomp. They're not coming into a mega rich United where they can go, all right, well, we're up there now with Liverpool, Arsenal and City, and we're going to compete with the big guns. And now we've got actual football recruitment people, director of football, sporting director, all these decent football board. So we can go after it now. We can go and compete with those people. They're not coming into that. They're coming into a salvation job and a club with no money. So I think it's just important sometimes to just remember where we are. We're pretty fucked. And it's good that these appointments have been made, but you need money to go with it, and we haven't got that money. So I've adjusted my success criteria. I've unapologetically said United should always expect the best, and our standards and expectations have gone down the Swanee in the last few years, and I've always fought against that. But I recognise that because the club is in such a mess, I have to be realistic about what we can achieve. So I've adjusted my success criteria, and what I want first and foremost, and that's that short-term bit, is players that I can relate to, and decisions made with the current squad that, again, I can relate to, and I can get on board with, and characters on the pitch that you can look at and go, yeah, they're a decent lad. You know, that I can warm to that player. I can see that they're trying to do something. They're trying to follow a culture that I can recognise. Then yeah, it's not amazing, but it's better than it's been. But there has to be progression with that, and it's where that progression. How does it happen? I don't get it. I'm not sure. You've also got the situation where the Glazers are giving up control, and I was worried they wouldn't, but it seems like they are giving up quite a bit of control, which is great for us. But they're probably just going to sit there and go, okay, you do that, Jim, and the club will start to probably earn more money. Before too long, they'll probably start taking a few more dividends out again and things like that, and they'll just sit there and, yeah, if they stay out of the way, I suppose to some degree, fine. But then at some point, just don't forget these guys are absolute bastards. Is it 18 months down the line, they could go, thanks for your help, Jim. You put us in a really good position now, cheerio. I'm sure they won't do that, but they could do that. They could take an offer from someone else, in which case hopefully they piss off, which is fine. But from Sir Jim's point of view, and I'd always kind of thought, I don't get the 25% thing, but Goldbridge, again, I say it all the time, many people mimic and mock, but I actually think he speaks a lot of sense at times, without the Alan Partridge side of it. So he said, I think it was yesterday, what did he say? Yes, Sir Jim, if you put $1 billion, or let's say once all said and done in the next year or so, he probably put 1.5 billion in for 25% of the club, but he's put 1.5 billion in pretty much running the club. Why would you go and find another 5 then, and skint yourself? Although that wouldn't skin you, but you know what I mean. Why would you do that? You're probably just going to go, all right then, let's just stick with this. So, and that's fine if you want to do that short term, mid term. I can see the short and mid term definitely being better, but I just don't see us getting that last bit, because I just don't think we can do it. And if we do, we're almost doing it as underdogs. United is, the Munich thing. Then post Munich was an underdog story. I don't mind us being underdogs, but you're not going to consistently win titles as underdogs. So we're going to have to, these guys that are coming in, have got their work cut out to repair damage, but then to do things on a shoestring, which we're going to have to do in the next few years. So positives, negatives. I think we've got to be real about it. Let's see how it keeps progressing. There'll be more appointments, I assume, in the next month or so. I think that will be announced, and that will be positive. But where's this monopoly money coming from? Glazers out.